Hi, it's Jane, and it's day 20 of 40 days exploring tenderness. I'm in a strange space right now. I was meditating, and then I I wouldn't even say I fell asleep. Sometimes lately I will meditate, and then it's kind of like I go deeper, and I can almost feel like energetically I'm receiving some kind of transmission, so I'm not meant to get up. And so I just lay there, and then I guess I let myself fall asleep. Yeah, so that happened, and I'm not even sure what I received, but it's a sense of like integration happening for me, or I don't know, downloads, whatever you want to call it. Today's Easter, and this morning I went to Five Rhythms class for the first time. It's a type of dance. It's like where you're pretty much moving however you want for a while, but the music is set up in just different cycles, different types of rhythms that kind of have like a wave-like quality. So yeah, it was interesting. A couple things I noticed was one, it was good to see how many people were there, and it's just always gratifying to see. It's gratifying and still surprising to me to see a group of people kind of recognizing the value and importance of doing something like moving your body with a group of people, expressing in that way. And then personally, what I noticed is there's like a person who facilitates and who speaks sometimes through while the music is playing while you're dancing. And one thing that she would kind of have you partner up like spontaneously with whoever was around you in that moment if you're dancing alone. And what I noticed immediately was, and this has come up before in this exploration, that when I was paired up with a guy, I was really, I still enjoyed the dancing and like reflecting, and it's kind of, yeah, fun to notice and kind of mirror each other or feel the energy. But I could feel my self inhibited. Like I would get close, but I wouldn't really touch the guy. But if it was a woman, I would feel comfortable touching or, like sliding our bodies across each other and stuff. And that's always kind of been the case. But I'm really not sure why. I mean, because consciously I don't have any, it's not like I don't feel afraid of men or like it's, you know, uh, I don't, so it's just interesting to notice. And then there was one point where I was dancing with the guy, and because this happened several times where you would kind of dance again and then be called to choose another partner. And with one person, I still didn't touch him, but I was able to, I guess, allow his energy into my field and vice versa. And I just felt this like rush of I guess what you would call love. It's like I felt the openness of the energy, and I can feel this a lot with like in nature, or with someone I really love, like I know. And even then, not often, not all the time. It was like my system was very open, probably from the dancing and just a lot that's happened lately. I feel like I'm just opening more and more. and maybe the cleanse too, with like the eating differently. But yeah, in that moment, I could allow that, and then so I just thought, okay, well, since I'm noticing all these things like while I'm dancing, what would it look like to just open a bit more and like allow myself to be touched and to touch, because I could see that that was like a limit for me, and I kind of, I didn't want to push myself, but that it was just something I wanted to explore. So the next time I was partnered with a guy, it was funny. I didn't try to touch him, but he kind of touched me very lightly, and then I kind of let it happen, and it was nice. I could still feel the inhibition, but yeah, these things are just very interesting to me. It's like, what, because if I don't feel comfortable even dancing with someone and letting them touch me, it's like, how many ways energetically am I not allowing myself to be connected with the people? And yeah, so then I came home and I decided to just start a painting, and I was inspired because I was thinking about, I mean, it's Easter, so I was thinking a lot about the energy of the Magdalene, Mary Magdalene, and Christ and Mother Mary, mostly like as archetypes. And while I was thinking about her, I got an email from this artist named Shiloh Sophia, who does something called intentional creativity, which I resonate with because it's about the power of art, the healing power of art. When we express ourselves with a clear intention, it has the power to transform. So, and she gave this kind of like a free instructional video about making a painting in her style. But she was focusing it on the Mary Magdalene. So I was like, oh, this will be fun, just follow along and kind of. So part of it I did follow along with what she suggested, kind of like, I might show parts of it, like, the idea is honoring the story, and what it represents. Like, first of all, that Mary Magdalene represents all women, just like Sita in the Indian story. Mary Magdalene is, she's been seen as, in positive ways, you could see her as a muse and a mystic, and she's been known to be possibly Jesus' wife, the main disciple, a whore, a healer. So she kind of, in a sense, encompasses every woman, or all the women, all the different parts of each woman, and definitely because she has been, I believe, misunderstood and been kind of a scapegoat for many different labels over the years. Because I really see her energy as the spiritual partner and lover of Christ. That's how I resonate with her. So seeing her as anything less than that, which has historically been the case, I see as kind of a distortion. And so looking at that was really, it just seemed timely, because the sexual stuff was coming up for me, right? Because for me, I think the liberation of these kind of conditioned beliefs that I still carry in my body, having to do with shame and what is acceptable in culture and what is allowed, and what the ways I'm afraid of my sexual expression, which is one and the same as creative expression, which is one and the same as like the instincts of my body. Like, yeah, I'm really ready to heal that. I think that's my next step, because it's that's creative power. And if I'm waking up to the fact that my work is pretty much like expressing through art, then and not just, I mean, it's bigger than that. It's waking the divine feminine in myself and the world fully, and that is through the center. I mean, through the womb, right? Through the body is through the body as gateway. The feminine is about seeing the body, like the earth, as one with heaven, as not having a separation. And historically, there has been a deliberate separation between the body and the mind, between heaven and earth, so that we could easily be controlled. I mean, if we're believed that we can't trust ourselves because we can't trust our bodies, we can't trust our natural instincts, then it's easy to control us. So yeah, honoring Mary Magdalene and learning from her and exploring that archetype, I felt would be very helpful for my own waking up to the truth. So I started this painting, and it started with like seven things that feel dead, in my life, let go of. And it's kind of representing like that moment where Mary, she goes to the tomb of Jesus and sees that his body is gone, and then yeah, what are you putting in the tomb, and then turning and seeing that he shows up as a gardener, and she doesn't recognize him, and asks where the body of the master has gone, and then he says her name, and when he calls her name, she wakes up to the truth and realizes it's her beloved, and she calls to him, Master. So it's like, what is that moment when we know that we are named, when we wake up to who we are because life has called us, because we hear the truth beckoning us. So then I started painting, and I really thought I was going to make a face, like maybe it was going to be me as Mary Magdalene, or however I picture her. And then something else entirely came up, and I ended up seeing an image. It looked like the yoni, like the opening, and I really thought I was going to make a face, like maybe it was going to be me as Mary Magdalene, or however I picture her. And then something else entirely came up, and I ended up seeing an image. It looked like the yoni, like the opening, and then that was just going to be background, so I was just going to keep painting. But then I saw a figure inside that body, and I'm still not sure what it means. But the card I picked today was go outside, and I did not take that literally. I feel like that being that's untouched in the center of that yoni, it's like ready for her to come out. Because the woman that was, there's another figure of a woman that's from an old painting, and it looks like she's kind of like holding the yoni on the outside, like her hands are like this. I can't do it while holding the camera, like da-da. She's holding it, like framing the yoni. And I feel like that thing represents like how the creative power, how the body has been on display, how it's been objectified, and kind of this version of this creative power that is so much smaller than what is really happening. It's distorted, and there's this peaceful, still being that's inside there, and maybe she's ready to come out. So I'm very curious about that. Bye.